This is Stalker Clear Sky. We're here on PlayStation 5 Pro, taking a look at the next-gen updated version of this trilogy package, an enhanced version. Be sure to like the videos, subscribing is great as well. So this is a upgraded package, sort of together, but I'm taking a look at each of the individual games. So if you want to see how any of them are running, I've got videos for each of them on the channel. This will be about the same as it is on the base PlayStation 5. Just keep in mind that with the overhead that you get from the PlayStation 5 Pro, it will be running a bit better across the experiences on some of the more demanding modes within the game here. But yeah, so this is the second of the Stalker games that released, not to be confused with Stalker 2, of course, which will be coming to PlayStation in the near future. And of course, we'll be checking that out when the time comes, as I'm sure, you know, obviously Stalkers does really well for me on the channel and everything like that. People are big fans of the series. So it's kind of cool to be diving into this, talking about the features, the improvements, and everything that it has to offer. And just what we've got here. Like, this is a genuinely impressive revamp of the game. Just huge, huge improvements. Because this came out about a year or so ago, this package of games, and I checked them all out. And I was, you know, really, really quite surprised by the quality and everything like that. And then they were mentioning that they were doing a next-gen update eventually for these games, and I was very confused. I was like, why? You know, what more are you going to do? It's a re-release the games. They're fine as is. But I think here, once again, just like with the first game, I think the results kind of speak for themselves here. Like, this is quite a visual bump up for these games. It is definitely taking them a lot further, and I think the results here are absolutely fantastic. There's many visual improvements, graphic improvements, balancing options, and just a plethora of different enhancements for this experience so you can enjoy them. This takes place within the zone. This is the biggest anomalous energy blowout from the second incident at the Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant. What? It's reshaped the world and the zone. And to prevent future cataclysms, you're, you know, getting into the mix of things and trying to make a difference out there as you go about. You're a person where your injuries and blah, blah, blah don't make sense, and, you know, then you get thrown out there and you gotta go on this journey and fight these things, and it's a whole experience. Now, this is a game where there are multiple difficulty options, and I would recommend saving often. I don't have any saves, and I'm assuming that's because I don't have the PS Plus Cloud stuff at the time or whatever, so just keep that in mind, I guess. I was just like, oh, nothing's here, cool. Oh, what a shocker, right? And then, like, difficulty-wise, I would always be like, oh, you know, it's something that would be easier playing on an easier difficulty, but a lot of people get mad at that. And I do think they've balanced things a bit better, but the idea is you play at a higher difficulty, because then the damage ratio is kind of like a little bit more one-to-one, if that sort of makes sense. And, you know, headshots are a big part of this game. Your controller makes noise with the beeps and stuff like that, which is kind of cool on the PlayStation side of things. So we're going to be diving into, first, the different profiles that are available, and then we'll be talking about all the different graphics settings that you kind of see across this experience. What you've been seeing thus far is the performance mode. So this is a dynamic 4K at 60 FPS. I think this looks really good. This is my recommended way to play the game, personally. Of course, you can play it however you want, but this is the way that I would recommend that you go about playing this experience. But there are actually 4 different graphical profiles that are available for you to enjoy and use. So we go to options. We talked about performance mode, obviously. I always do that with the gamma. We're going to turn on ultra performance. There's also things like speaker sound, dynamic music, game sounds, difficulties, and everything like that. And then, of course, the adaptive triggers and all that, and the DualSense setting here. So we're turning on ultra performance. It's going to do its little flickering thing for the high frame rate. So this is obviously something that's going to need to be supported by a 120 Hz display, something that does 120 FPS. 2 of the modes are based off of this. So what they do here is they drop the resolution down to 1440, and they do 120 FPS. So this is like if you want to play with a high level of fluidity. I don't think it's the worst look in the world, honestly. Like, it is a bit of a drop for quality and stuff like that, but like getting the high frame rate in this game and across the series, I think is a really cool thing to have. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on, I would say, this mode, and I'll show you a bit of it so you can see it in action. Uh-oh. Not an emission. No, no, what are we gonna do? Mercenary Scar. I'm gonna take all the stuff is what I'm gonna do. Oh, he's here to steal off these corpses. So, yeah, this one's quite interesting, and I would recommend trying this mode out. I mean, it's more for, like, competitive type games to play at high frame rates, but I know some people like their shooters to be just buttery smooth, and, yeah, that's what you kind of get with this option here. I think it's really quite fluid. It's impressive, and a pretty good way to go about playing the game if you want that, like, absolute fluidity level. And obviously YouTube doesn't support the 120 FPS, right? So it's not like I can really showcase it to you, but you can at least visually see what this mode is sort of looking like, and you know, what it has to offer here for this game, which again is a very fluid experience. It does seem like it's a little bit more demanding in comparison to where it was in the first Stalker game, but it's fine, honestly. And then we have the next option, which is quality mode. So it's going to do the flickering thing again. So quality mode is a native 4K at 30 FPS. So this mode to me doesn't really feel great to play. You know, it is a shooter game, but if you want to kind of have maxed out visuals, you want to see what the game really can look like, this is what I would say is kind of the way to go about it. So I would say, hey, check this out, see if you like what it is, and just get an idea what the game can look like. That's where it's kind of like, I think this is a good mode for future-proofing the game. Like, this is something that I would see if we get like a PlayStation 6 in the not-too-distant future. They could come back and they could just kind of like uncap this experience, and that would allow us to have, you know, sort of a full thing. But it still looks beautiful. Like, I think the game looks really good here with these settings on, and you get to see the settings a little bit more in this area because this game starts out with you being in a bit of a swamp perspective. You know, if you've not played the different like Stalker games, they're taking place in like the zone and everything like that. It's a real place. The second game actually, you know, actually has like scans of an area, but this one is you know, this particular region, this area. What's really cool though is if you play, well, eventually, like, you know, Stalker 2 on PlayStation, if you play like these Stalker games, these maps are actually areas in Stalker 2, like they're chunks of it. And it's really quite fascinating to see the difference in technology and stuff between the games. So this is the balanced mode. So balanced mode is a 40 FPS targeting mode. It's kind of a mix between performance and, well, quality. So it's dynamic 4K again, but it's you know, 40 FPS, and it is recommended, I think with VRR2, to have that variable, you know, refresh rate. It is recommended to have a TV that has that kind of a thing, but like in general, you do need a 120 Hz display to actually play this particular mode. So it's a cool mode. It's, over the course of this generation, quickly become one of my favorite modes because I think it gives you a nice balance between... Did I not have a shotgun? Oh, they took my shotgun. Great. I think it's got a nice balance between giving you the full feature set of things and then also giving you a really good, like, a frame rate that feels better than 30. Like 30 FPS kind of feels like sluggish, whereas 40 FPS and 40 FPS targeting kind of gives you that little middle ground between things. Am I crazy, or like, do you move super fast in these? I don't remember moving so quickly in them. I don't know if I'm just used to Stalker 2, but... Oh, I'm totally gonna die. Yeah, I'm just not even thinking straight, am I? Yeah, I'm not thinking well. Always make sure that you are creating saves. doing a very bad job of that. I think we're supposed to get in here regardless, but yeah, don't go through the water. The radiation will get you. Anyways, yeah, so this mode definitely worth checking out. Eliminate the old church. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I remember the church assault.
What is it that you need?
That's so funny. Okay, so do I have... I don't think I have bandages or anything, do I? I'm just gonna, like, literally bleed out before I get here. Yeah, because I'm losing health, like, super fast, and I literally do not have bandages to deal with that. The save is, kind of ruined, I think.
What is it that you need?
Yeah, there's nothing I can do because this save is just bonked. Yeah, no, that's not good. I don't suppose I have any autosaves. Autosave. There we go. Preferably before I dive into the water and basically kill myself would be ideal. Yeah, okay, right at the beginning here, that's good. So these are your options as far as like performance profiles. But performance mode is the mode that I would recommend staying on, which is your 4K 60. So another big feature for this package is the inclusion of mod. Jeez, that's a later area. It's mod.io integration. So we're here ahead of launch on this one. So your experience, really? You gotta be kidding me. I'm just gonna bleed to death, aren't I? Yeah, so your experience is gonna be a little... I'm gonna totally die before I get over here. Your experience is gonna be a little different. You're gonna be able to download mods, and I'm hoping to do like a mod video talking about that sort of a thing. So stay tuned for that in the future. But yeah, mod support is available for these games, which is absolutely fantastic. That's such a cool thing to have available. I don't suppose anybody here is a trader that could give me like a health pack or something so I don't die. I am going to... Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to... No health pack in there. Yeah, I am... Oh, that one SWAT just... I told you. Game ain't easy. That SWAT will get you, right? Yep. It's good fight. I love the little bits of this game that are just like emotionally dramatic. Okay, let's talk about the other visual settings. So we mentioned mods, we mentioned the profiles. So the game has... Oh, please don't stab me this time, weird mutant creatures. Lighting and reflections. So they've added God rays, which were those ridiculous rays of light coming out at the beginning of the video. Screen space reflections and global illumination. So you'll have better reflective technology in this game. Like, it's not, like, you know, it's the more traditional way to do these sort of things, but these things can be kind of demanding, and they do make for a big quality of life improvement just in regards to creating the appearance of a more natural, put together and compiled world, which I think is fantastic. We got textures, so upscaled textures and more detailed models for all the 3D detailed models for everything. Like, you look at the characters, more like dynamic aesthetics and styling, like their clothing, their faces, the weapons, the environment. Just huge improvements across the board for, like, you know, just the textures, so that they have like upscale textures and improvements here, where it does get to the point where like it does feel like they are sort of remastering things on top of stuff. That's why I was saying I was kind of so impressed by this effort, because I was not expecting this, and I was just kind of like, oh, you know, we already got like a pretty good version of the game, you know, with the next gen aware update or whatever. Oh, where they're all going to do stuff? Oh, it looks like there's an attack on the camp. Oh, okay, this is like maybe the live alive system kind of going on here. Are they bad guys? I think they're bad guys. I'm in the midst of a firefight and I'm uncomfortable. Yeah, so upscale textures, or 3D detailed model improvements. We've also got shaders, enhanced water shaders, upgraded skyboxes, which I think the clouds and stuff like that look absolutely phenomenal, and this is quite beautiful. Yeah, we're definitely bad guys. Or they're bad guys, I guess. So I think you'll notice like just a massive improvement to the visual aesthetics of the game, like the world and everything looks just way better. They've also got like full 4K pre-rendered cinematics now. So prior, the game had oh, you gotta be kidding me. So prior, like, there was like the pre-rendered stuff, but like now they've done a massive improvement to the pre-rendered cinematics. So when you like open up the game, it will, I guess it depends on which game you're doing in the series and stuff, but anyways, the pre-rendered cinematics look way better. It is a nice improvement for sure. For as far as just like setting the scene, getting the cinematic stuff going, it's kind of cool. All right, so we talked about that. We talked about the visuals, the game itself, clear sky. Kind of an interesting setup here. You sort of start in this like swampy terrain, and it's quite like a much more, like, it's the area you know from like the previous game, but they've made a big difference in regards to kind of the style and the scope of it. Like, this one came out after the original, and it wasn't necessarily like it was a big upgrade, but it wasn't like, oh, you know, completely different stuff. They were building upon what they did in the past, but they certainly did. Yeah. It's just kind of funny, just thinking about like something. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Side thing. Focusing on the game. It's quite an interesting setup and scenario for this game as you kind of figure out what exactly is going on here. You're trying to prevent future cataclysms, and you're trying to survive. Clear Sky is quite interesting just for the setup and the more dynamic like conflicts going on between the different factions, the feuding that's going on in this area. And the zone continues to like change, and this game was just a lot more focused on the back and forth battles that I found quite fascinating. Especially as you continue to move along, you can definitely make a big difference in this world based on your actions, because you just see this sort of growing conflict, and there's all kinds of like interesting things going on, and you as yourself, you're trying to figure out, you know, how you fit into all of this, and it's quite neat. Like, there's a lot of stuff, and you just kind of feel like you're in the midst of all of it, if you get what I mean. And then, you know, the dynamics of the combat as these guys move back and forth, and you might not even think about it. And then there'll be all this stuff happening. I don't have any bandages. I'm going to die again. And you know what? I didn't put a save down, so I am absolutely not going to make it here in like 2 seconds. As I said, this game is, it's quite brutally difficult. And it's very unforgiving, which is kind of fun. So you kind of choose how you go through this, how the faction wars all play out. I think that's where the live a life sort of system that people are super into. Oh, that sucks. Make sure you do saves. Make sure you make saves in this game. Yeah, like, look where I am. Oh, that's such a bummer. Like, they've made things a little bit better, but yeah, kind of rough dying like that. So make saves, go out and enjoy it, and then find yourself kind of working within or between these factions and seeing how these factions interact with one another across the wasteland. And it was just kind of cool seeing the system kind of exist where you're doing something, but then there's also all these like NPCs that are going off, and you know, they're part of conflicts and things that are happening, and you're kind of in the middle of it, and you're trying to figure out your place in the wasteland. And I think you will find it enticing and interesting, and this one definitely had some, you know, interesting environments and stuff that you can go to. And I like the start of it where you're in, I guess you'd call it like basically wetlands, but that's sort of the area you're sort of starting in, and the build up from this place, because the terrain is unforgiving, needless to say, because it's all water, and you know, there's bits where you can't easily get to stuff. And I just thought it was an interesting dynamic change from the first game. And then of course it all builds up into the later ones, and then, you know, Stalker 2, there's some fun connections to everything. And yeah, it's a pretty neat series, and hopefully you'll dive in and check it out.